What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So it looks like 4-division world champion, Mexican superstar boxer, who is widely considered by many to be the face of the sport of boxing, top 10 pound-for-pound best fighters in the world, and is the undisputed super middleweight world champion in Saul Canelo Alvarez. Saul Canelo Alvarez is 59 wins, 2 losses, 2 draws, 39 big wins by way of knockout. He is 33 years of age, 5'8", with a 70-inch arm reach. Canelo Alvarez is going into another massive fight. He's no stranger to big fights in his career. Hence the reason why he's considered the face of the sport of boxing. Saul Canelo Alvarez is the undisputed super middleweight, and September 30th, Las Vegas, Nevada, T-Mobile Arena, he's going to face off against 3-time junior middleweight world champion and the undisputed junior middleweight world champion, superstar boxer, who is considered top 5 pound-for-pound best fighters in the world, in Jermell Ironman Charlo. Jermell Ironman Charlo is 35 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw. He is 19 wins by way of knockout, 33 years of age, 5'11" and a half, with a 73.5-inch arm reach. With that said, there's a mega fight brewing, and Canelo Alvarez is avoiding it. And that's a fight between Canelo Alvarez and now undefeated 3-division world champion, former junior welterweight undisputed world champion, currently the reigning undisputed welterweight world champion, superstar boxer, who is widely recognized as the #1 best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, in Terence Bud Crawford. Terence Crawford is 40 wins, no losses, no draw, 31 big wins by way of knockout, 35 years of age, 5'8", with a 74-inch arm reach. With that said, Terence Crawford is coming off the biggest win in his career. Terence Crawford dominated top 5 pound-for-pound best fighter, former unified 3-belt WBA, WBC, IBF welterweight world champion, superstar boxer, in Errol "The Truth" Spence Jr. Errol Spence Jr. is now 28 wins, 1 loss, no draw, 22 big wins by way of knockout. He is 33 years of age, 5'9" and a half, with a 72-inch arm reach. Terence Crawford dominated this fight. This was a fight that was highly anticipated. It was the most anticipated fight in the last decade. It was on paper seen to be a 50-50 fight if there ever were one. And it turned out to be a one-sided dominant performance in favor of Terence Crawford, as Terence Crawford dropped Errol Spence in the 2nd round, dropped him twice in the 7th round, and then stopped him in the 9th round. And with that, Terence Crawford is getting his roses while he can smell them now. Many people are recognizing Terence Crawford as the best fighter in the world. There was speculations, there was debates, there was arguments. Who was the best fighter in the world? Is it Errol Spence? Is it Terence Crawford? Is it 4-division world champion, former undisputed bantamweight world champion, now unified super bantamweight world champion, and Japanese superstar boxer, monster Naoya Inoue? Is it Inoue? Is it Terence Crawford? And Terence Crawford silenced all of that. Completely silenced all that with his performance. Just 4 days after Inoue put on a dazzling performance himself against former super bantamweight unified champion, cool boy Stephen Fulton. So with that said, Terence Crawford, everybody wants to know what's next. Now, he was contractually obligated to give Errol Spence a rematch, and Errol Spence is expected to exercise that rematch clause, and Errol Spence as a competitor is expected to pursue that rematch, right? But many people, it's a hard sell to the public because of the way Terence Crawford dominated this fight against Errol Spence. It's a hard sell to the public. And the powers that be, the networks, the promoters, the managers, they just don't see this fight as going to be a fight that's going to be productive as far as revenue brought in. Because Errol Spence, Terence Crawford made a guaranteed $25 million for this fight. It did 600 to 700,000 pay-per-views. It's the sixth highest gate in Las Vegas history with $20+ million gate. But after that performance, are people going to pay to see it again? It's a hard sell. And so people want to know what's next for Terence Crawford. It's a lot of excitement, a lot of momentum. And Terence Crawford had his sights set on Jermell Charlo. He wanted to be a 3-division undisputed world champion, right? And Jermell Charlo's daring to be great September 30th. He's going to challenge Canelo Alvarez. So he's looking to create his own history. He's jumping up from 154 to 168 to challenge Canelo Alvarez. Now, Terence Crawford was asked about those fights. He said his ceiling is 154. He's not going to go up to 160, 168. It's just too big. Since then, Terence Crawford has settled in. And Terence Crawford has decided, you know something? I'll fight Canelo Alvarez at 160 at middleweight. And Canelo Alvarez was asked about this in the presser and the build-up for his fight with Jermell Charlo. And Canelo Alvarez turned it down. And Canelo Alvarez said, no, I'm too big. I can't go down to 160. I'll fight Terence Crawford at 168. If Terence Crawford wants to fight at 168, I'll fight him at 168. And now Terence Crawford, as of today, did an interview with Joe Rogan. And Terence Crawford, he stated, you know something? Fighting Jermell Charlo, if Jermell Charlo loses, even if he wins, at 154, doesn't satisfy what I'm looking to accomplish, which is becoming undisputed in 3 separate weight classes. Because Jermell Charlo has now been stripped of his WBO, World Boxing Organization title. He's only going to be allowed to keep that title until he's announced in the ring. So the build-up for this fight is undisputed versus undisputed. Jermell Charlo's the undisputed 154-pounder. Canelo Alvarez the undisputed 168-pounder. So he's only going to be allowed to keep the title once they announce Jermell Charlo as the undisputed champion. He will immediately be stripped. And undefeated Australian star boxer Tim Tszyu will be elevated to the WBO super welterweight, junior middleweight world champion. So even if he beats Canelo Alvarez and he comes back down to 54, he's not undisputed. And so Terence Crawford said it kind of took away from what I want to happen, is become undisputed in 3 separate weight classes. Terence Crawford is looking to retire. And so I believe that Terence Crawford is looking at the fight with Canelo Alvarez at this point in time. And he's saying, well, you know something? Now I can go up to 168. I don't have to worry about coming back down and draining myself and not being the same guy, because I don't plan to continue to fighting anyway. So, yeah, I'll go up to 168. How great would I be considered? So Joe Rogan said, well, you will be considered one of the greatest. He said, I'm already considered that, but what would I be considered if I go to 168, jump 3 weight classes? It's been done in the past, 2 weight classes. Roberto Duran did it, beat Sugar Ray Leonard, jumped from 135 to 147. Shane Mosley jumped from 135 to 147 to beat Oscar De La Hoya. Sugar Ray Robinson has done it. You know, a lot of fighters in the past have done it, right? It's a special feat, but it has been done. How many fighters have jumped 3 weight classes? Now, Roy Jones Jr. did jump from light heavyweight to heavyweight, 175 to heavyweight, which is 25 pounds, and become a heavyweight champion. So essentially, that's 3 weight classes, because he went from 175 to 200 pounds. That's 25 pounds. Okay, what Terence Crawford will be doing is jumping from 147 to 168. That is 21 pounds. So actually, Roy Jones did do a 3 weight class jump, but it's not considered that because it's only light heavyweight, then it's cruiserweight, 200 pounds, and then it's heavyweight. So he jumped 2 weight classes technically, but in all reality, he jumped 3 weight classes, 25 pounds. So what Terence Crawford is willing to do is jump up to 68 now. And he said he want the winner. Canelo Alvarez is still saying he won't get no credit if he fights and beats Terence Crawford because he's a little guy. No. I'm here to tell y'all that's not the truth. Because if that was the truth, he wouldn't be fighting Jermell Charlo, who's jumping up 2 weight classes. Now, in stature, Jermell Charlo is a bigger guy. He's 5'11" and a half with a 73.5-inch arm reach. In stature, But in reality, he fights at 154. He's a smaller guy. Canelo Alvarez has fought at 175. So essentially, he's fighting a guy 3 weight classes below him. He's fighting a guy 3 weight classes below him in Jermell Charlo. He's became a champion at 175. He fought twice at 175. He fought Sergey Kovalev, won the WBO title, and then he fought undefeated WBA light heavyweight world champion, Russian superstar, top 5 pound for pound best fighter in Dmitry Bivol. And he lost. He got dominated. So essentially, Canelo Alvarez saying he won't get his credit because Terence Crawford is too small. Well, I'm here to debunk that notion because you're fighting a guy right now who's 3 weight classes below.